socks. Running from a up, and I shoot at up. And I'm on the block. And I'm on the block.
Before we get to the video, man, make sure you subscribe, press the bell notifications, and let's get out into it. Trade Talk Sports, back here with another video. And I really have just honestly a really good, I have a very fun topic to really talk about, man, in this video. And I think a lot of people really like to talk about this when it comes to our receiving core, which is who will be the Chicago Bears' #1 receiver going into 2026. Now, like I said, we all know about Rome Odunze and, Luther Burton and COLTS. Now, I do not, I think a lot of us kind of don't see, maybe Ja'Day Walker, but I think when we get to Xavier Thomas, Ja'Day Walker, Khalif Raymond, we're not really talking about #1 guys, but like I said, I do think those type of guys will definitely be a factor into this offense for Ben Johnson for sure. And I think when you're talking about a #1 receiver, you're talking about Rome Odunze, Costa Loveland, and Luther Burton as well. So I really want to just talk about and just definitely just going on from these three guys who I ain't gonna say who I think, but just want to have this conversation. So I feel to me, man, when you watch Rome Odunze's game, Rome Odunze is very explosive. He's very smooth. Now, I think a lot of us have that question, can the man stay healthy? Because he got hurt. But before he got hurt last year, he was, in my opinion, he was really killing it. And he was just very explosive, especially, after yards of the catch. And he's Caleb Williams blanket two guys. So you really could see, Rome Odunze being the #1 receiver. I could also as well see Luther Burton being the #1 receiver because, when you watch a guy like him who is just very explosive but also does have speed into his game. And, you look at him, he definitely does like to get, a lot of these deep shots, well, not a lot of deep shots. Definitely like to, get on. He definitely does like to have a lot of these deep shots. And, he just, to me, in my opinion, he has a very good quick acceleration. And I think when you watch a guy like Luther Burton, you can really see the potential in him. And you can really see just how, obviously, the man, to me, reminds me of a DJ Moore because not only he's very explosive, like I said, but just his route running, he is quick. And he's an explosive route runner, where from Rome Odunze, Rome to me is more of a smooth route runner. So, Rome Odunze is not a guy who is absolutely fast, but he is a big body receiver. And he is somebody who is definitely going to take off the top for corners, but he's not like a Malik Neighbors or somebody who's going to be very explosive, who's going to try to burn you out or things like that. But he's definitely a guy who can, he can be a guy who can definitely be a reliable target for Caleb Williams, especially, them having a connection, as well. I really feel to me, man, when you definitely look at a guy like Rome Odunze, he can catch. We all know he can catch. Great hands, great size, and just in my opinion, just a really good receiver. Now, I think, when he's out there, he is really great, especially when Caleb Williams, he like to go around and do the jump throw. And the crazy that I do love when Rome can make those type of catches and those tight throws from Caleb Williams, which I do like, which a lot of receivers can't have. But another thing, for Rome, to me, he is just honestly, he is, to me, a very good receiver, pretty good receiver. Now, he needs to fix his drops. I think a lot of, when you go back to this conversation, a lot of these receivers need to fix a lot of these drops, especially, even like Rome Odunze. I think Luther Burton had a couple drops, but he's a rookie. Now, I want to, before I get to COLTS 11, I'm going to go back to Luther Burton for a little bit more. We all know what Luther Burton is. We saw last season. Man's absolutely explosive. We all know that. But when you look at a guy like Luther Burton, who to me, a couple questions is, is he the most explosive player? Man, I want you guys to answer this in the comment section. Do you guys think Luther Burton is the most explosive player in this offense, in Ben Johnson's offense? Let me know in the comment section below. Because, like I said, I do think he's very explosive, man. And I think so far, especially in OTAs, he's really just shown, especially, man, how this explosive, his route running is absolutely explosive, but how obviously he also has great hands. Now, getting to Colston Loveland, I really like Colston Loveland a lot, and I think to me he's not, like I said, your typical big type of tight end who you see like Tyler Warren, but he's a type of a tight end who is, to me, he plays like a receiver. He's a big body, but when he plays more of like a receiver, but he can still block. And that's great for, Colston Loveland. He reminded me a little bit of Travis Kelce because of his game, the way they both are used, and the way how Patrick and Caleb Williams used both of them, both of their tight ends, and just how the way they kind of go by each other. Because if you look at Travis Kelce is a big body receiver, more a receiver type of tight end. Same thing with Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland is more of is more of a receiving tight end. And like I said, we look at like a bigger, like a tight end, looking like Cole Kmet, like a Tyler Warren, George Kittle. Those are more bigger tight ends, but a guy like Colston is more of a receiver type tight end. That makes sense. As well, man, I really love how dangerous he is on screens and how he can as well get deep shots. And when you look at, especially he could definitely keep a lot of these guys mismatches and things like that. And I really do feel like, man, any of these guys, in my opinion, can really be number one receivers. I feel like it could be a situation where, honestly, the Bears have 3 number ones. It might sound crazy, but there could be a situation where the Bears have 3 number one tight end or 3 number one receivers on their team because, like I said, especially in Ben Johnson's system, we all know Ben Johnson likes to use 2 tight ends, likes to use different, we watch him in Detroit. Ben Johnson likes to use a whole bunch of weapons, and he just, in my opinion, really likes to use these guys in different ways, especially like a guy like Xavier Thomas, which I'm excited to see what he does. I do think for Xavier Thomas, my question is, how will he be in the pros? But I mean, the guy has absolutely speed. The man ran a 4.2. And I know people say he's kind of bring him Velas, not Velas, because he actually can catch. I believe he only had like 5 drops in college season, which is great for a receiver. And he's really, the guy is very, he's fast. I can see him being possible like a Tyreek Hill type of player. I'm not calling him Tyreek Hill, but I can really see him being like more of a Tyreek Hill type of player where, they can use him as a running back situation. They can use the guy on the slot. They can use him, as an X. They can use them guys in so different ways, especially with Rome, man. Rome can definitely be used in different ways. Now, obviously, Rome's your X receiver, and they can use Burton as well. As more of like a slot guy, but obviously, behind Rome and Doomsday. There's so many guys, and there's so many ways that Ben Johnson, in my opinion, can use Colston, Luther, and Rome. So I wouldn't be surprised, man, at all at the end of this season, if all 3 of them, to be frankly honest, are number one receivers. It might be that situation as well, where we might not just have that number one type of receiver. We could just have that, receivers who all 3 can like number ones. Like, by the way, we still got Janae Walker on our team who had a pretty good season. And I think he's more of a number 3 type of receiver. But, like I said, the Bears have a whole lot of weapons to use for Caleb Williams. And I'm just really interested to see how Ben Johnson is going to use a lot of these guys. Now, obviously, everybody's not going to get the ball because they got a whole lot of mouths to feed. And, everybody want to get the ball. And, because it's going to so many guys, I can really just feel like the Bears might not just have a 1 number 1 receiver. They might have a couple number 1 receivers. I wouldn't be surprised at all, man, if you asked me by the end of the season. Roma Dunes is a number 1 receiver. Luther Burton's also a number 1 receiver as well. And even COLTS Love, not like I said, he's more to me of a receiver type of tight end when you look at a guy like COLTS Loveland, who definitely, in my opinion, man, for sure, break the burners as well. He's not fast, but he do have speed, and I think that was shown in the Cincinnati Bengals game. Watch him; he was able to break away from that corner, able to get to the end zone, right? So, like I said, we'll see, man, how everything this plays out. But I'm really interested, man, to see how this season was going to go, especially for our receivers, and honestly, it's just to see, man, who will be the Chicago Bears, I guess, or best target. You also want to say, well, a number 1 target, but like I said, I do think, man, I could see Rome being a number 1 target, but I think Ben's going to use a lot of these guys just a lot in ways, and I really feel like, to me, man, Ben Johnson has a whole lot of tools to use, and I'm just really interested, man, to see how this plays out. I think we're going to get a lot of our questions, especially in training camp, because training camp is coming this week. So we'll see, man. I'm not going to make this video too long for you guys, man. Press the bell notification and drop a video, man. Love you guys, man.